Welcome to the next episode of Real Talk with Chris and Ross. Yes, this is our podcast channel for those out there listening. It is focused pretty heavily around real estate. Obviously, Ross and I have been in the real estate industry combined a little over 30 years. So we have the knowledge, the know-how, the experience, and we love sharing those tactics and ideas with those out there that are listening. But in general, we just love having a channel that's designed around being a forward thinker, entrepreneurial minded people, right? Big thinkers. People are open-minded, right? We don't like closed-minded people, do we, Ross? We like open-minded people.
Come on.
People that, right? People that really think like very heavily on the thought of this, anticipating something better in our life. We want something better in our life. So, and I think that's kind of where everything stems from. But my amazing weekly guest here, Ross Rawson from Michigan. Thanks a lot,
What's
Ross.
happening? Hey, man, how the heaven are you, Chris?
Oh,
What's
man, I'm doing great. I'm doing amazing. You know, we actually have every week I talk about the weather, right? Because I think that's a
Here's your weather report.
Right? A very heavily talked about subject right now across the board. I mean, everybody's experienced some crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We are having the heaviest rainfall and snowfall ever in the history of probably in a century.
Wow.
You guys probably haven't got as much snow as you typically do. You like having a dry year.
The sun is out right now, man.
I know, right?
Everyone's feeling good right now in Michigan.
I mean, yeah, and I would love to have some sun because we've had a lot of rain and snow, but and even Hawaii, some of our friends over there, really heavy, consistent, windy days and overcast days, rain. It rains here every day, but nonetheless, it's just been excessive, right? Everywhere's been excessive. Anyways, that's how I'm doing, Ross. I mean,
that's our weather report for today, folks.
That's your weather report. We don't have a green screen. We're just sitting here kind of faking the funk and talking about weather.
Hey, man, if you ever need that, my brother-in-law is actually a weather reporter for Fox. So we can always call him in and get a legit, newscast going here, right?
Right. Do you think that would actually work? People really want to hear about weather. I mean, that's kind of cool, right? I mean, people listening out there might want to hear about weather.
Comment in the comments if you guys.
Yeah, comment in the comments if you want to hear about the weather. We will actually include Ross's family in here, and we'll do a real weather report. Damn.
Oh, I love it, man.
So we just were talking about a few things prior to getting on this podcast, and we're always trying to come up with amazing conversation and content for you guys who are listening. Hope it's valuable and it's something that you can apply to your business, and maybe even just makes you think, right? Like makes you like stop and really think deeply about what you're doing. And if it resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. But we were talking yesterday. We had an amazing guest speaker, Tina Call. An amazing rock star. I mean, I can't continue to say more things about her, but I think
really great story too, man. Right? I mean, she just has a fire and authenticity that she brings on the call that you can just feel instantly. It's contagious.
Yeah, I think her authenticity of being extremely humble, was like it's a fresh breath of air
for sure.
A fresh breath air, a breath of fresh air, right? I always say that, fresh breath air. I always say it backwards. I don't know why I always get myself in that, but it's a breath of fresh air. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Because we see so many egomaniacs in this industry who want to pretend that their shit doesn't stink.
Yeah.
And like, oh my God, so I closed 100 units. My team's a badass. I'm a badass. No, you're not. You're not. Let's just get off that soapbox for 1 second, because that's another thing that drives me insane. People who think they're egotistical, like they're just like amazing. I'm sorry. You sell homes, and you sell a lot of homes. Good for you. I'm proud of you. I'm not knocking that, but it doesn't require and allow you to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Just say it.
For sure.
Yeah. You're not like changing the world by any means. You're not building a rocket to go to freaking space.
But even Elon, he has the right to be that guy, and he's really not that guy a lot of times.
Well,
Yeah,
interesting. They say that a lot though, right? That people that have money, that really have money, that are wealthy, never really show it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's actually true. Some of the wealthiest friends that I have in my inner circle, they drive used cars, and they do not have Rolexes or the shiny things, man. And they don't care to, because they have it. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't define them.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that literally on my drive to the office today, that people do things completely designed around what they can get to purchase, if I can say that, or to acquire, to validate themselves. I mean, you ever think about that? I mean, this is probably wild, but it's like
no. I love this. Let's roll with this. This is good. Because it's true. Because a lot of it is the perception, right? It goes hand in hand with I sell 100 units and I think I'm a complete badass and I need to be this way and all these things. It just kind of aligns with the ego, and it's an over-exercised belief when you're putting all these things on you and wearing all these certain things to say, love me, I'm value, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that's what we're kind of contributing to the Tina Call thing, is that she just brings that, right, without all the flashy things on that call. Or there's people in the world that we're talking about that are wealthy that already have that in their soul and their heart and their presence, and they don't need to have a Rolex to sell you. They don't need to have, a fancy car to sell you. They just are who they are.
No, actually,
Yeah.
I feel sorry for people that need some kind of material object to feel validated,
Yeah.
to feel worthy.
Mm,
Like that, by having that specific object, you
mm,
feel invigorated. I'm sorry
mm.
if that's the case. I don't really feel, and this is, again, everything we say on here obviously is our opinions, and you can take it with a
Always.
grain of salt, right? You can agree, disagree, don't care. It's my show. We can talk all we want. But
Well,
right.
I want to open that up a little bit though, because I've been there myself, and I'm sure you have too, maybe. And
Yep.
I remember there was a season in my life, I think 2 years ago, this happened where I got the car I wanted, the house I wanted, all of my dreams that I've ever thought that were to come true came true. And then I hit a huge wall because I
Mhm.
wasn't chasing anything anymore, right? I had already got all the toys and the things that I wanted. And then I had to create a whole new understanding of what it meant to really be hungry, rather than just be hungry for objects and
Yeah.
achievements and things. You know what I mean? And we catch ourselves in that sometimes. And it's a dangerous place to be in, because once you do get those things that you want, you're stuck. What's
Yeah.
next?
Well, you have no real solid foundation of
Yeah.
anything that's substantial, that's tangible,
Hmm.
right? And you lack fulfillment. That's the
Mm.
number thing. You lack fulfillment.
Yeah.
There's a level, I think, of fulfillment you need to have with whatever you're doing in your life, whatever it's a goal you're trying to reach or just a way of life you're trying to behave like, it's being fulfilled.
Hmm.
I feel like, why do you think a lot of these celebrities, I mean, we've had a mass amount of celebrities in the last probably decade that have committed suicide,
Mm.
right? And it's sad because they're
So
amazing,
sad.
talented people, right? Robin Williams, Heath Ledger. I mean, these guys are awesome, great. People look up to them,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, wow, you have everything that every person on this planet would want: money, like celebrity status. You have
Mm.
everybody loves you, all
Mm.
on it, but inside, internally, you feel lack of fulfillment in your life.
Hmm.
It's deadly,
It
you
is.
know. But so I think there's something to be said about that. I mean, we can go off on several different directions on buying material objects and how it makes you feel a certain way, whatever. And if it does, proud of you. Good for you. I mean, I'm not here to deflect and tell you in any way, shape, or form that you're not a worthy individual because you want to go buy a $500,000 Lamborghini Aventador and you think it makes you feel good. Good for you. I mean, if you earned it, go for it. I'm
Heck
not even
yeah.
hating on that. Good for you.
Heck yeah.
I just think it's the behavior that I see from a lot of people um, that are in that level that actually drives me nuts. The behavior that you turn into to end up becoming someone that treats other people
Hmm.
with lack of respect because you feel you're on another level.
Mm.
That's where I don't like.
Yeah.
You let the object or the material item take you to another level in which you're not there. You're a human being, just like
Hmm.
the rest of us, right? We cut ourselves, we all bleed blood red.
Yeah.
We all get up in the morning, we put our pants on one leg at a time. And nobody different here. And that's one of the kickers I like to think about. Like when I go back to Tina Call and think about how successful her story has gotten to, she talked about the 3 years suffering, right? The 3 years that she killed herself, pretty much
Yeah.
destroyed herself just to get it. It's that going through the hard to get to the easy,
Hmm.
and it is. That's what
It's
people I think don't do, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, it takes a lot of work to, actually build the structure, to build the process in which gives you the success, right?
Mhm.
And there's so much behind the scenes that is done, that on the outside we see the success story, but behind those closed doors, man, there is countless efforts, countless rejections, countless overcoming the mountains within yourself, countless fighting within, and is this going to work? Is what I'm doing the right thing? All this inner battle that, we don't see, that truly almost, I would say, every entrepreneur, every successful person goes through,
Oh
you
yeah.
know? And it's that relentless pursuit of staying in the lane and not going for a different direction or a plan B. That is what keeps you on course for true victory. like, hey, Phil Knight, Shoe Dog. I mean, I that book he wrote, I read it about Nike, and it's like, man, this guy literally was going for, again, I'm paraphrasing, but I believe he went through multiple bankruptcies, I think, trying to build the thing. He was doing side job after side job while also trying to sell these Nike shoes. And then finally, I think it's years, maybe 10, 12, 19 something years later, or whatever it was, it finally is an overnight success. And it's like, man, if he would have just been like, oh, I'm going to give up, we would have known Nike today. But he didn't have a plan B. He's stuck on his course, and he has a radical success. And now everyone knows Nike and loves Phil and knows his organization, but it's a result of that suffering behind scenes of building something truly great.
Yeah. Well, it takes effort, energy, and time. And so, like, how can we actually roll that into a conversation today for those that are listening, like that are probably going through the same struggles, right? Everybody right now, and let's just eliminate that concept about real estate, because obviously we're real estate related, but let's just take in general the world. The world in itself right now is suffering on so many levels. I mean, I'm almost to the point where I'm disgusted. I don't even want to get on this subject because I really don't like it, but the politics and the bullshit that's going on right now in this world is driving me insane. And I'm really at the point where I'm disgusted with all of it. Like, I feel like it's a personal attack on human beings at this point, and not even adults. I think they figured out it can't really work. COVID was probably designed for the adults. See how many people would fall for that one. Yeah. And then now it's like, now they're really just attacking the young kids. They're attacking our children because they're more vulnerable, right? And the schools, I mean, whatever. I'm not even getting that. But anyways, I just think across the board, I don't want to.
Well, hold on though. Even that though, right? We can't. It's like you feel like you can't even talk about a relevant topic because you don't want to say the wrong thing.
Actually, I don't give a shit. About that.
Chris, that's not my problem. Well, we'll still close the door, even though it's real talk with Chris and Ross. We might have to close the door on that one.
I give two shits about that. Like, I feel like this is the freedom of speech. I think, it's a rabbit hole I don't really want to go down, because I think I want to keep this kind of focused more heavily on real estate, people that are listening, because I want to help add value to them and give them nuggets and how to succeed and excel in their business. And, and that part of it really just, it's meaningless. Really, we could talk about it all day long, but nothing's going to change. So, but I think the reason why I even wanted to bring that up is the fact that, I think across the board, everybody is struggling. So how do we help give people, not necessarily the answer, because there is no answer. Like, how do we give them some guidance and direction? And, one of the things we talked about earlier was it's not about knowledge, talent, and experience anymore. You can have all the knowledge, talent, and experience in the world, but if you fail to be committed to execute, then it's dead. It's worthless, right? So everybody watching everybody, and everybody that's maybe comparing yourself to other people or judging, because we've all done it, right? Raise your hand. We've all done it. We've all sat there and compared ourselves. We even maybe have quietly on our own sat there and just kind of dreamed about how I wish I was like that other person. Like, God, I wish I had what they had, right? We've all done it. I wish I was where they were at.
Yeah. Or if only I had those things, I would be X, Y, and Z. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not even about that, right? It's not about all those things. It's about who you are as a person. How do you end up with defining who you are? And you show up. Like, how many times you get knocked down? How many times you overcome obstacles and challenges, right?
Come on.
You get back up.
That's right.
And that's your true character. And that's what's going to get you to the end. So, but I mean, everybody, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was going to say, those are the gifts. Those are the true gifts, though, is when you do get knocked down and you get back up, and then you actually receive the fruit and the reward of understanding the gift that you actually receive. Like, let me retrace that back a little bit. Every time I've ever been knocked down, at least in my life, as an entrepreneur, or just as a person in life, when I really look at overall what is happening and the strength and wisdom that I've gained from getting knocked down, when I get back up, I always get back up stronger. I always get back up with a new perspective, with a respect for with life, the respect of those around me, and really, really gather what I want out of life rather than what I thought I wanted out of life. Because the getting knocked down is truly the application of chasing your dreams, right? When you're applying yourself and you're putting in the application, you are making an effort towards what you're trying to achieve. And when you get knocked down, it's really makes that want and the thing that you're going after more finite and more, you gain a deeper respect for it and a deeper understanding. So that when you're actually standing up and you're not getting knocked down, you know how to move, you know how to know yourself, you know that you don't need the shiny objects, you know that if you lose it all, you're still going to become successful or still achieve the happiness. I don't know, man. I think that's the gift. That
Oh,
is the gift, in my
well,
opinion,
it totally is. And I think it's all based off personal experience. Like for you, you just realized the gift was the ability to fail and
Hmm.
to learn from your mistakes. But how many people actually fail, um, and they don't look at it as a blessing? They look at it as a curse,
Hmm.
and they learn nothing from it.
Yeah.
Right? That you could fail time and time and time again over certain things, and all you look at it as is just failure.
Mm.
Or you look at it as a course correction of areas in which it just didn't work, and now you know what you should do differently. Right? And you just figure that out. For you as an individual, Ross, I mean, you figure that out. Not everybody out there is uniquely the same way. Most people honestly kind of sit in their own little misery for a while and they fail to utilize this. And I've been a victim of that too. I'm not going to act
Oh
like,
yeah.
right? Pretend for
Oh
one minute I
yeah.
wasn't that either,
For
you
sure.
know?
Well, I think it's a process of getting knocked down a lot, at least
Hmm.
for me, right? The first time, yeah, you might sit there for a couple months and go, yeah, I'm not touching that stove again. That was too hot. Or, oh, I'm
Hmm.
not going to do that. I don't want to I don't want to fall down again. But eventually you start to learn that it is truly a part of the process. So let me ask you this, Chris. I mean, you seem to be the same way.
Hmm.
You love failing and you love putting yourself in the direction of where you're trying to go. What are some tools that you use that when you do get knocked down in life, that help you get back up, or rather keep you going towards your goal, in life?
Well, I'm always a firm believer in this. I talk about it almost on a daily basis. In fact, most of my reels or my podcasts I talk about, it's about personal development,
Mm,
right? In order for you to be the person that actually learns from mistakes or understands how to get through them or like find your way through this down times, because it's a downtime. When
mhm,
you get knocked down, it's depressing. Of course it is. When you get knocked down, the reality is it hurts. It's
mhm,
painful. And a lot of times you're probably alone, right? Because people don't really see those times when you're alone. The
mm,
the, the worst times is when you're alone. You're trying to, they say it's lonely at the top. It's
mm,
because you're doing things that others are not willing to do.
mm.
And that means you're usually alone when you're doing it. So
Yeah.
not only are you lonely, you're depressed, you're sad, you're overwhelmed, you're frustrated. I mean, so many things, right? And the only way to break through that is to continue to have your mind in a place in which it can bounce back.
Mm,
And the only way that does that is if you consistently personal development, work on yourself. So I do, and I've done it actually now. I've done it more now than I've done it actually in a while, to be
mhm,
completely transparent. And because I've had a lot of different challenges in my life in the last probably 18 to 24 months, I've had some major changes in my life, to be honest, and personally,
yeah.
and that made me feel completely uncomfortable. And yeah, that I feel like I may have hit a wall and failed. Not necessarily even failed; it just didn't work out.
Mhm,
And right, so restarting, redoing things, recalibrating, refiguring things out again. And so it was my ability to stay focused on the things that I do daily in my personal development that actually helped me continue to rise and stay on top of the water and keep floating. Right.
mm.
So I plug in consistently. I mean, most of you have read the Hal Elrod book, Miracle Morning. I mean, people think, it's kind of dumb. No, it's not. It's basic tactics that actually really freaking work if you
Oh
just do
yeah.
the shit,
Yeah.
right?
So true.
The ones that talk shit about it are the ones that are afraid actually to embrace this ability to take control of your mind, because it's
Well,
got control of them.
and it goes right back to your first point when we started this episode about, having an open mind.
Mhm.
Right? Having the open mind that something can work, right? And I think that, for me, when I heard you actually talk about the miracle morning and your success with the processes that I had you do in the morning, I think it's called savers, right?
Yes, savers. Yep.
I was like, all right, dude, I gotta keep an open mind. I think I might know it all, but I gotta read this book. And when I finished the book, I'm like, holy crap, there is a
Right.
better way to actually start your morning and get out of yourself,
Right.
and it's that open-mindedness that also helps you to even get to what you're talking about.
Mhm. And it's, again, we go back to the two words we just talked about: commitment and execution.
Hmm.
Right. I got to be committed to my personal development. I got to be committed to wanting to be the best person I can be. Are you committed to becoming the best version of yourself? And again, it's so cliche. It's like, oh my God, this is so Dr. Phil and Oprah. All right, maybe it is. Stop being fucking afraid of talking about your feelings, man.
Come on.
Number one. I mean, seriously, it's time for you to get out of your shell, this manly shell that we want to think that's the level of mentality we need to have. That we need to be this hard nosed, abrasive, obtuse, cold, chiseled male
Mm,
figure that lets nothing penetrate us. That just means you're not freaking human.
Yeah.
Be human, be vulnerable,
Yeah.
be transparent. And the reality is we're all fucked up.
Yeah.
Every one of us is. We all got some issues in our life that we're dealing with. There's not one person on this planet today that didn't wake up with some kind of challenge in their life that they're battling, personally or professionally.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that? Well, you got to figure out how to become the better version of yourself that you can withstand it. Because the truth is, there's no like pill you're going to take that challenge and obstacle goes away. It's going to be you standing and fighting the good fight. You consistently being committed to doing things you need to do on a daily basis to personally develop yourself, and you will withstand. It's like putting the armor on we talk about, right? Armoring yourself. And, in God, they talk about armoring yourself for battle.
That's right.
Because every day you go out, it's
Ephesians,
like
baby. Let's go.
I apologize. I don't mean saying they dropped the F-bomb and talking about Bible. That's kind of an oxymoron, but I just get carried away. Very passionate about that. But just, the truth is though, it's just like, are you committed to your personal development? That is the core place and start of everything right now. Doesn't matter whatever direction you want to go in business. You want to be successful in real estate. You want to be successful in your relationship. You want to be successful as a husband or a wife, successful as a father, successful as an owner, a business owner, an employee. Doesn't matter. Everything starts with personal development.
That's right.
Everything.
That's right.
Okay.
I was going to say something to that too. So, a lot of these topics that we're talking about, although, we were talking about, not worrying about what others think about you, chasing after material success. And now we're talking about, not having a plan B. And then we went down the avenue of, how to get yourself out of a funk when you do fall down. A lot of it is really all in and of the same. And what I mean by that is, I think as well as when you do fall down or have a thing where you feel like you fail, from our first point of, worrying about what others think of you or seeing you at a certain, value status, when you let that go, it makes making a mistake that much easier to get over. Yeah. Because there's so much of the ego that's like, oh, well, I failed. And what are other people going to think of me? Or, oh, what if they say this about me? Or what if, when you start to go back to the, hey, I don't care. I know who I am. I know my value. This is just a part of it. And I'm going to make mistakes. It becomes a lot easier to fail because you're not failing anymore, and you're not worrying about what others are thinking about or going to say because you fail. You're more worried about, hey, how am I doing? What's going on with me? Where am I going? What are my value systems? Like you're saying, am I worrying about the self-development? And if that is the core principle, it doesn't matter what you're wearing, how many mistakes you make or whatever it is, you're on the journey to achieving your best version of you. And at the end of the day, that's what matters, because without the best version of you, you're not going to be the best version for anybody.
Nope. 100%. And that's why I think most relationships tend to not work out, maybe. Yeah. Because both people get into it. I mean, this is a personal thing, right? Not business, but personally, they get into it looking to find someone to help validate who they are, because we just don't know who we are. We haven't took the time to personally develop ourselves, to get healed, to be the best version of ourselves. But we're latching on to someone else in hopes that they will provide that. They'll be our outlet. They'll be our charging station to be the best version of ourselves. And that's the biggest fallacy in the world, and why most of them don't work out.
Yeah, man. I'll say that in my own marriage, my wife and I had to learn that one real quick too. You might, and there's times, right, even in that relationship, just to get a little transparent here, you might both be equally yoked or both at a 10 in life. And then there might be a time where you're not where your partner's at, and you still have to go back to those core principles of, hey, I know how to help myself get better. I can't use my spouse or my partner or, whoever to pull me back up. Yeah, they can be there to comfort, to whatever, but they also have a mission in their life. I remember watching, my wife taught me that lesson. I can't tell you how many times I'd come to my wife with just too much, man, in the past. And she'd be like, honey, I love you. But like, you have to also work on those things. Like, I can't be all those things for you. It's an unreal expectation to have. And it's, it's actually more true to say, hey, no, let's let you work on you. It's okay. To really have true growth.
Because the natural behavior is when you both are actually taking the time to work on your personal development, you guys will naturally go together. That's the kicker that
Come
people
on.
don't realize. They don't realize that if you naturally do the things that takes the course of personal development in that arena, then both naturally come together and climb in that same little parallel universe. And that's where people don't understand,
Yeah.
right? So that's the kicker. That's the game changer right there.
And
Too much heavily focused on the, oh my God, that person can help me here. Oh my God, that person can help me here. No, it's what are you going to do for yourself?
correct.
How are you going to show up for yourself today?
That's right. And
Yeah.
outgive the person that you're with, right? I mean, that's when you start to thrive. I remember my marriage literally went from a 10 to 100 when we got that lesson down in our marriage. It's like, hey, how can I outgive you and not just trying to pull that withdrawal? Because it's like a bank account. Relationships, even in of itself, whether it's business, whether it's personal, whether it's yourself, if you're just constantly withdrawing, guess what's going to happen? That bank account's going to go on empty.
Oh,
You know?
negative, zero,
Yeah.
negative. Yeah, negative. Yeah. So it's not good. You got to give deposits like any area of life, deposits before you take withdrawals.
Yeah.
100%. Well, I mean, again, all these things, I guess, are great qualities that we got to learn and figure out, whether it is addressing our commitment and our ability to execute, our ability to understand who we are, love ourselves, work through personal development to improve ourselves every day, right? To be the best version of ourselves. I mean, these are all great areas and concepts that we got to figure out on how to get through whatever it is we're going through in life right now.
Good.
And it's just, this is where I want to be a source to people that if they listen to this podcast, if you're listening to this right now, and I'm sure you are going through something right now. I know you are as you're listening to this and you're like kind of baffled maybe or perplexed of what it is I need to do. Or maybe you're just questioning some things in your life that you need validation on. We all have those too, right? Like, gosh, am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right place? I don't know. I wish I had somebody to run this off of and bounce ideas off of and see, so that's when you're who's your tribe kind of thing, right? Where proximity is power. Like who's the people around you? Who's your five? And you got to have a solid top five around you that are helping you grow. But yeah, I mean, all this stuff I think is great conversation. I think people that are listening, I want to make sure that, be human. Number one, it's okay. And the reality is life is super challenging for everybody at this point in life. So have some grace. I think grace on yourself is important too. And understanding that whatever you're going through life, you're not the only one, but you
That's
just
so
got to,
good.
right? You got to stay focused. You got to stay committed. You got to stay committed. Like number one, I tell everybody in this business, if you just do anything, stay committed to something, commit to something and execute on it every day. And I promise you with time, the averages will work in your favor. 100%. They will.
Yep.
It's the ones that don't, they will not, because you know why? You're not committed to the process. You're more committed to the outcome. If you commit to the process, the outcome will be what it's going to be anyways.
That's right.
Right.
That's so true.
It is. So many of us are so heavily focused on the outcome. And then the reality is human beings naturally we're results driven. So when the results don't show up, we lose tenacity. We lose our obsessiveness. We lose our commitment. We lose our executions. We lose all that because the results are not there. Right.
It's easy to shortchange yourself on that, and when you, but I've noticed for me, it's funny. It's like, okay, as a human, you notice, hey, I'm not going to not feed myself today. I'm going to be hungry. I'm going to eat. I'm not going to not get the necessary sleep that I need. I know that I need sleep to, be successful. I'm not going to not find a way to make money because I have to make sure that I pay for my family and my bills. And when you start to look at the process as a non-negotiable, just like you look at everything else in life, it really becomes so much easier to give your full best effort rather than negotiate those things, right? When, like you're saying, we're not getting those instant results. We tend to, when we don't get our results instantly, to start going back and negotiating the things that we can do and have to do to get the actual result. And just like I said, but we're not going to negotiate that we have to eat. We're not going to negotiate that we can't sleep. We're going to do those things. Why? Because those things help keep us thriving. So back to the process, back to not worrying about what the result is going back to the core of, oh no, this has to be in my foundation. This has to be a thing that regardless of how I feel or what's going on, I'm still going to get sleep today. I'm still going to put in my time today. I'm still going to do my to-do list today. I'm still going to knock out everything else because I'm not worried about the outcome. I'm worried about making sure that I'm taking care of the things I have to take care of to get me there. And that process is so beautiful, man.
I love it.
So beautiful.
It is, especially when you watch it unveil itself. when all the hard work and all the things you do and all the things you say committed to, and then you look at the results and like, wow, like you get to lavish in that luxury. Bottom line, I just say this: stop making freaking excuses. I think everybody is just full of freaking excuses, man. You got an excuse for everything. And you justify everything that you're not doing by some level of an excuse to make you feel validated. I'm sorry. We're just keeping that real. Like, stop making excuses, get to work. If you want something, go after it. If you want something different, do something different than you've ever done before. That's just how it is, right? People say that stuff all the time. It's almost cliche, but it's true. You want something different in your life, then start doing something different you've never done before, period.
That's right.
That's it. And stop making excuses. Commit, and execute. Be committed to what your goal is. Commit to your dreams. Commit to your obsession is, and execute. If you do that, man, a blind squirrel gets a freaking nut. It does. So if that's the case, then everybody should get a nut at some point.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
That's Real Talk with Ross and Chris, or Chris and Ross, baby. Let's
go. It's this way it is, right? No excuses, and let's go get it. Every squirrel gets a nut. I love it. Well, hey, man, let's just keep this quiet and cool. I think this is amazing. Always love hanging out with you, chatting on this, Ross. I hope today's podcast was valuable to you guys that are listening to it. I know we go over kind of similar subjects that sometimes each podcast might simulate in parallel to other podcasts, but I think the reason why we do that is because it actually means it's important to listen to. That's why we keep reiterating it, because these are things that you need to, consistency equals success.
Come on.
As Tony Robbins says, right? Creating good habits, consistency equals success. And we will consistently talk about this stuff over and over again until it sinks into your freaking mind and you actually freaking do something about it and stop making excuses. That's it. Bottom line. But we love you guys all. We love the audience.
Amen, baby. Let's go.
And if you guys have any ideas and concepts of talks that you want us to talk about to keep it real, just put them in the comments below, and we'd love to hear from you guys. But until next week, episode 19, we'll do you guys adieu, and I hope it's been an amazing week. We love you all.
Take care.